Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's Tracy Black here, and super excited to be talking to you about apps for your Young Living business. This is one of my favorite things to talk about because I am all about working efficiently, right? Just because it's like many of us have families or busy schedules, so time is of the essence, right? So these are tools to really help you make your running your business so much easier. So before I begin, we're only going to talk about a few tools and we're going to leave lots of time for questions, but I would just love to know from you. Type in the comment box, what apps or tools do you use right now for your business? Because we'll go into more detail and talk more about it. And if you've got questions about things that maybe I've tried or have, recommendations on, I would, be happy to talk about it. But type in the top comment box, what apps do you use for your business right now? Or maybe what apps you've used before. Are there apps out there that you're interested in and would love to talk about tonight? So I'll mention some recommendations and then we'll go into some Q&A. Okay, so let me share my screen. Give me one quick second. There we go. And I will just do kind of let's see here. There we go. So that was light steps. So I'm going to move on with this one. Give me one quick second. There we go. So we're going to talk 4 apps that you need for your business. And of course, we'll get into some Q&A in just a little bit as well to answer questions on anything else that you might have questions on. But first of all, of course, since we just did a call all about Life Steps, the first app I'm going to recommend is certainly going to be Life Steps. But I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with you on how to use this. So again, free app with tons of great content, and you can really just sort of use it out of the box just like that. In particular, that product information, the photos, the graphics, the printables, they're all amazing. There's also the pro version. Again, the app is $8.99 if you get the pro version. So with that, you will get a website. So what that means is you can actually have a website to send to people where they can actually order products. So I think as of right now, it's mostly focused on the kits, but I think it's going to grow over time to have more flexibility. I don't know if they're going to do bundles, but that is an option. I find personally that I'm not using the website that often, but the feature that's really cool within the pro version is you can actually send content from the app via email or text within the app. So you don't have to copy a link, go to your email client like Gmail, or go to your text messaging app and send something out. You can actually do it within the app itself. So that's a really cool feature. The other thing is, because you need to plug in your member ID with the app, it will pull up your downline. So, you're not having to go to youngliving.com in a separate window, bring over the contact information. Like, you can actually access your downline within the app and then send information to them. So the one thing, and I really hope in the future they'll allow to do sort of mass texting or mass emailing. That's not a feature right now, but you can do individual messages. So, depending on the size of your team, I will tell you, up until Platinum, I would hand text people. Like, there was no other app out there. I would literally copy a message and send it out. And I would do 10 at a time, here, 10 at a time, another time. And maybe over the course of a day, I'm sending out 100 messages. But I used to do that. So certainly you can do that within the app. And that's a really cool feature. The other thing with the pro version, like I mentioned before, is you do get access to some paid content, which honestly, I feel like trumps so many other things out there. So professional photos, and you can create, again, stories, social media graphics. You could even create your own slides or put them in presentations, whatever you want to use them for. But you also get things like Instagram stories, Instagram stickers, carousel slides. So again, when you go into a Facebook post or an Instagram post, you'll see it's a slideshow. It'll have those already done for you. So it really cuts down on the time so that you don't necessarily have to create new content unless you want to. You can certainly do that too. And again, just from the perspective of product education, I would highly encourage you as a brand partner to have your customers get this app. I am constantly promoting it, whether it is a text message, whether it is an email that I'm sending out, or Facebook post right within our groups. I am constantly recommending this app for our customers, just because, let's be real, social media engagement isn't what it was like when I first started 8 years ago, or almost 9 years ago, right? People don't see Facebook posts all the time, or Instagram posts. So the nice thing about Life Steps is it's not social media, it is an app, right? It is totally outside that realm. The other thing is, when you have the app, you can set the notifications. So you can turn notifications off. I wouldn't recommend that, but think about this: for a new, customer, when they get the app, they're going to get a notification when the monthly promos comes out, or when there's a sale that's coming out. So it's just a really great way to make sure our customers are getting the latest news from Young Living, the latest promos, or they're getting just great content and product information. So again, awesome features for you as a brand partner to utilize to maintain and run your business, but also something for you to, recommend to your customers so that they can learn without necessarily being dependent on your Facebook group, right? Or maybe your upline Facebook group. I personally am all about multiple ways of learning, right? So the Life Steps app, you can send them a text, send them an email. Then you've got Facebook groups as well, or maybe you're also on Instagram, right? Like multiple ways of reaching people and getting them the information. The other thing that you could do that's really cool is, you'll see it says July newsletter. They have this every single month. You can use that July newsletter. And I mentioned this in the other call, but you could use that as like a newsletter to send out to your team. So I still send out emails through the virtual office, you guys. I've tried different email sort of, clients, like paid email marketing systems. I really like being able to send things through the virtual office because I don't need to maintain the list. It's always updated. So I just create like a template of like, here's the March newsletter, here's the April newsletter, and then I'll tell them quick little highlights from the Life Steps app from this newsletter, like here, the oil spotlights on Luscious Lemon, or the supplement spotlights on the Cleansing Trio. There's a really cool DIY recipe on plant care. Like, I keep it really short and sweet. And after the call, I'm happy to send, I'll post it in Gather and Dwell, a copy of that, what that newsletter looks like, but that's what I send out. And it's got information from the Life Steps app. So just want to encourage you to really leverage this tool. Again, it's free. The pro version certainly has a lot of bells and whistles, but you could do a ton with just the free version. So hopefully I'll encourage you to do that. Okay, next step. One of my favorite apps, of course, is the Oily Trends app. And I could do a whole separate call all about how to use this app. But in a nutshell, it's available to our team for half the price, and it has a ton of business metrics to help you manage and grow your team. So for instance, you can get reports for top enrollers on your team, customers without subscription, reactivations report. The really cool thing about this is you are going to be able to access content and reports that you can't get anywhere else. Like the reactivations report, it doesn't exist anywhere, not even in the virtual office. This is a special report that's only in Oily Trends. So what do you do with a reactivations report? So what you can do, this is what I do, is people who reactivate, I reach out to them. I send them basically like a welcome back message. You can even send like a welcome back postcard, and I'll get to that in just a second. But this is an opportunity. These are people who are members who didn't order, right, for over 12 months and are back. So this is definitely something to celebrate. So whether it's you take a screenshot of those reactivations and post it within maybe like your Facebook group or your team Facebook messaging chat thread, whatever that kind of looks like. Or again, you could just individually reach out and go, hey, welcome back, send them a text message or send them an email. Let me know let me tell you what's changed, right? That's what I like to do. Here are a few things that might be different than when you originally started. You know, go to youngliving.com, check out the website, look at the subscriptions page. You know, just sort of like some basic did you know information, but reactivations are huge. The other thing that I like to do in here is there's a really cool report where you can pull, you can see who has ordered, but they're not on subscription. And you could even toggle to see like how much they spent. Let me just tell you that report is such a gold mine of OGV, because what you do essentially is you reach out to each person and you just go, hey, thanks so much for being a customer. I noticed you spent whatever, maybe it's $800 last year, right, over the course of 12 months. Did you know you could have gotten at least 80 subscription points, likely even over that if you were on subscription consecutively? Can I help you get on subscription? Can I send you some information? So I've been able to get quite a few people on subscription just by breaking down how much they spent, whether it's over a year or over a few months, and telling them how much of the subscription points they could have had. And I explained to them, this is like free credit, right? Like free store credit that you could be using. So again, another great way to reach out and serve your customers. Again, they're already spending the money, right? They probably don't know, or maybe they were confused or were overwhelmed with subscription. And so this is an opportunity for you to explain it to them. Some other really cool reports in here is, for instance, top enrollers. I love to do recognition. And so you could, you know, reach out or spotlight people like in your group or a chat thread, right, on your team, those who are enrolling, right? Whether it's a top enroller, whether it's a top subscription enroller, that's another report as well. There's really a lot of cool reports in here. The other thing is there are reports even for Young Living programs. For instance, you'll be able to run a report to see who on your team qualified for Rise to Rank, who qualified for a retreat, who qualified for the silver bound bonus. You can't get those reports anywhere. It's not in the virtual office. You can only get it in Oily Trends. So whether it's reaching out to customers and serving them, right, to, you know, help them get on subscription or capture OGV, welcome someone back, or it's recognition. There's a ton in here. And the creator is my husband, Trevor, but he is always open to new reports. Like if you've got a suggestion, you can reach out to him or reach out to me and send it over to him. He is always open to suggestions. Something that's going to be coming out, it's not out yet, but it'll likely come out in the next week, is he's going to be adding a feature to create labels for any of the reports. So back to the reactivations, let's say you sent an email, you sent a text, you could even send a postcard, right? From that report, you could create labels based on those addresses of the people who are on that report and send them a postcard in the mail. I don't know what it is, but sometimes it's that postcard, it's that personal touch that really goes a long way. But you can pull, right, those addresses and create labels, right? Just get a mailing label, put it on the postcard, send it out. How easy is that? The other cool thing with Oily Trends is that you can look at trending data. So I personally love to look at trending data, and let me explain why. So what I mean by trending data is you're not just looking at a monthly snapshot. You can look at trending data over time. Basically, from the time that you signed up, right? Oily Trends will tell you what where you're trending. And I'll give you an example, your subscription rate. So the percentage of people on your team on Subscribe to Save, right, or formerly ER, you can see what that looks like every single month throughout the year, but you can also roll back to previous years. So for instance, I can compare March 2022 compared to 21, 2019, all the way to the day that I signed up. So that's really helpful for me because I'll give you an example. There are some months where I see OGV and I'm like, oh, what's going on that month? I'll go in my trends and I'll see, oh, this is kind of typical for this time of year. I'm sort of seeing this trend happen, right, every March or every sort of like quarter within this time frame. And so that kind of helps me to make good decisions on like, okay, where to sort of focus my time. But the other thing is, let's say you see an anomaly. Normally in March, there are a higher percentage, right, of, people on subscription. Then that gives me good insight. Okay, I really need to focus in on this right now, because my percentage should be a lot higher. So what's going on? What can I do? And you use the data and the trends to figure out where you need to focus. And then you can create like a game plan, right? Maybe you do classes on customer loyalty. Maybe you do some kind of incentive on getting on subscription for the first time. Maybe you reach out to people, right, who fell off Subscribe to Save, which is also a report in Oily Trends, and reach out to them and see what you can do to help them. So again, lots of different really cool features, but you can do a lot. And I feel like I could dedicate a whole call, which let me know if you want me to do that. I'd be happy to go through like a demo data and show you all the different cool features. But this tool obviously is close to my heart, and I think is really fantastic. Okay, Weil Insights. So this is a free tool from Young Living. So if you were around prior to the last 2 to 3 years, you may remember Oily Tools, which was a paid tool for a very long time. What Young Living did was they sort of merged that tool within Weil Insights, and now this tool is available for free. So you're not going to see the breadth of data and trending that you're going to see in Oily Trends. You're going to see very sort of top level. So for instance, you'll be able to see the percentage of your team on Subscribe to Save for this month and last month only. You won't be able to sort of see the trending over time since the day you signed up. So you get limited data, but it's a great sort of starter app, just to sort of see where you are, like where your volume is, where your basic stats, like percentage on Subscribe to Save. It's really got very good data with that. The other thing that you're going to get with it that you won't get anywhere else is estimated commission. So I just want to preface, it is estimated. There are some months I find it's closer to the actual paycheck versus other times. So just sort of take it as like a guideline, not a definitive, this is exactly what my check is going to look like. It's an estimation, but it's a really cool tool to be able to see, okay, this is what my paycheck's going to look like this month. But you'll also be able to see your downline, as well as dig in and see, for instance, from the app itself, you could send out a text message or send out an email. So let's say you find, for instance, somebody missed a subscription order, you could just text or email them from the app, which is really cool. So if you haven't tried it yet, I would highly recommend it. Okay. Let me just close that. Hold on one second. Okay, so sorry, you guys. Another app that I would highly recommend. Are you guys still seeing the screen share here? No, there we go. Okay. All right, thank you. So another app that I would highly recommend that is fabulous for business and not even related to Young Living at all, but I use it all the time, is Canva. So I don't know how many of you use Canva. It is the best app ever, ever, ever. You can use it for so many things. So that presentation that I just did, it was on Canva. I created it on Canva. They have templates. It is phenomenal. So whether you're doing an online class, you can use Canva. A lot of little graphics that I share, like our monthly class schedule, it's on Canva. I mean, you can do so much there. It is ridiculous. For some of you who I know are very prolific on social media, maybe you offer some kind of a freebie, right? Like, follow me and I'll give you a whatever. You could create like a little ebook, right, on Canva. You could create all kinds of cool things on Canva, whether it's event graphics for a class that you're teaching on Facebook or an Eventbrite, right? Like you're trying to promote it, whether it's you wanting to put information about a product that you love. Again, you can grab photos from Life Steps, or maybe you take a photo yourself. But Canva is phenomenal. And if you haven't been in there lately, you can even edit video, You can create video clips. It's a really cool tool and I would highly recommend it. I would caution that I feel like it's very easy to go down in the weeds with Canva. So have a specific need in mind. Otherwise, you're going to be playing around in that tool all day. And so something that I often have to do is go, is this helping me to grow my business right now? And I, if the answer is no, then I'm like, okay, then I need to get out of this. I can't tell you how many times I tried to create graphics and I have to catch myself and go, do I really need to be doing this right now? Or is this going to grow my business? And if it's not, I pull back and then I'll rely on something like Life Steps or something that maybe, you'll see in one of our Facebook groups. But if you've not done it yet, I do recommend trying it out. But again, have a need or an intention in mind when you use it. Otherwise, you'll be playing around in the sandbox for a long time, which is fun. But if you've got dedicated time to grow your business, right, sometimes doing the creation can really sort of take you out of that sort of business mode. So that's kind of what I wanted to put it out there. Yes, Jalen saying, sometimes you scroll on social media. I find that too. I have to put the phone down and go, I don't need to be doing this right now. Okay, so I'm just looking back to make sure I'm getting all the messages. Okay. All right. Yes, yes. So many cool things about the app. So I would love to hear from you guys. We have some time now. Do you have questions about the apps that we just talked about? Or do you have a favorite app that you want to share that would be helpful for everybody else? Let us know. I could have talked all night on different apps, but I really wanted to keep it very focused. But yeah, those are the 4 right out of the gate that I think everybody could use. For anybody who's interested in Canva, we are going to be having a call later on in the, actually not this month, in April from a couple of our business brand partners, Ashley Jenkins and Jennifer Bonilla. They're going to be leading a call all about how to use Canva for your business. So make sure you're coming to our Tuesday calls so that you can watch that. Okay. No other questions or comments? Again, we can do a deep dive another time, maybe into each app so that I can show you how to use everything, but it is fabulous. What I would say is sort of the good measure for an app personally is it saving you time, right? So it's very tempting to use an app just because you want to use the app. But one thing that I think you need to sort of, constantly ask yourself, is this app saving me time or is it taking my time, right? I can't tell you how many times I'm like, this is not a good use of my time. I'm just inputting information. I'm not really getting a lot out of it. Something that people have asked me before is a CRM tool. Are you guys familiar with CRM? It's customer relationship management. So there are various tools out there. In a nutshell, you can suck in, right, your prospects or your downline, put it into this tool, and then you sort of track your follow-up with the tool. Sounds really great in theory, and maybe someone else has had really great success with it. I personally found I was spending more time updating, right, all of my contacts than actually contacting the contacts or serving them or talking to them on the phone or, offering to host a class with them. So that is sort of one of the many tools where I found it wasn't saving me time. It was consuming my time. And so that was something that I was like, okay, this is not what I need right now. I actually have sort of an old school, okay, this month, this is a group of people and I just, spreadsheet, I just have it there. These are the people I'm going to contact. All right. And then maybe next month, it's a whole nother group of people. And that just kind of works for me personally. It doesn't take time for me. It's something that makes me keep track of like how to follow up with people. So love it. Okay, Carmen's got a good question. Is the Life Steps imagery policy for the free version different than the pro version? Yeah, this is a really good question. So if you've got the pro version, my understanding is you can't sort of share those graphics within groups, right? Or to people who are not paid subscribers, which, it's paid content. But if you're using it, for instance, in your own Instagram story or your own Instagram post, or maybe you take that graphic and create an infographic, right? On Canva, maybe you use one of their photos, that should be fine. They just don't want, for the pro users, for you to be grabbing content and just sharing with people who aren't paid subscribers. So I would definitely recommend reaching out to them, but that's my understanding. So really good. So in addition to making sure the apps you use save you time and don't consume your time, I also just sort of think about, is this app making me more efficient, right? So kind of goes along with the time sort of, question, but is it making you more efficient? Is it helping you to organize? Is it helping you to, get content out or get information out to a lot of people at once? I think those are all really good questions to ask. Different apps work for different people. I will tell you another app that I absolutely love that I didn't include on this list is Project Broadcast. If you've not used it before, it is freaking amazing. It's a mass texting tool, but I know not everybody's ready for it right away. We didn't have that. Again, I think I was a platinum before Project Broadcast was even available, but you can not only text, right, do sort of this mass texting. So for instance, I mass text. So I can run a report in Oily Trends or run a report in the virtual office for certain things, people who missed a subscription order, people about to go inactive. And then I can send an email, a mass email, right, through the virtual office, but I can also send a mass text in Project Broadcast. And rather than me sending out an individual message to 300 people, I can send one message one time that goes to 300 people. Does that make sense? It's like one easy thing that I can do. So Project Broadcast for that use is phenomenal, being able to do the mass texting. I also, with Project Broadcast, do weekly text tips. You could do this with Project Broadcast and pull content from Life Steps. Remember that newsletter content that I mentioned earlier? The oil spotlight, the monthly diffuser recipes, the monthly DIYs. You could do Tuesday tips, and like each week is like a different thing. Just keep it short and sweet. Here are the, April diffuser recipes. Here's the April DIY content. Put in a little bit of information there, but you could literally build out your own weekly text tips just from that content. The other thing with Project Broadcast is you can create classes. And again, you can do this with Life Steps. So I'll give you an example. The 5-day nutritive cleanse. We're going to be starting this as a team on April 1. And I was just looking in Life Steps for content, because you know what, you guys, I don't want to create more content, right? If I don't have to, I want to leverage content that's already done and is really good with beautiful graphics. It was already in Life Steps, and they have it in 5 days. So guess what? I'm going to be using each day in a post in my Facebook group, but I can also create a text class on the 5-day nutritive cleanse with 5 different texts, right? Just based on content that I pull from Life Steps. So you can absolutely do that. It's really easy to do. Think about this, in addition to Facebook or Instagram, just offering class or even just classes, right? Like you're doing an in-person or a Zoom class. Text classes are really convenient. You know why? Because people can learn on the go. They're not having to be on at a specific time, right? They can check their phone whenever it's convenient for them. So you could build out just a couple of text classes. Think about who your audience is. Maybe it's mostly, people with babies and kids, mostly women, right? Okay, do a baby class, a kids class, a women's hormones class, done. Again, most of that content is already in Life Steps. And so as you're talking to prospects or as you're talking to members, you could say, hey, do you want to opt in for this female hormones text class? Reply back with whatever keyword you use, women, and you'll get this 5-day text class. Again, super easy to do. And I'm happy to walk anybody who's really interested in doing this. Maybe we can do sort of I'll teach you, and then we can live screen it. We can broadcast it. So for anybody else who wants to do it, we can do it together. It's really easy to do. I've done it. So Amber is asking, Project Broadcast, is Project Broadcast how you do those text classes? Yep, that's how I do it, girl. So Project Broadcast itself is a platform. It has no content in it. you populate the content. So again, those weekly text tips, it's from the monthly newsletter from Life Steps. A class that you might want to do, like a 2-day class, a 5-day class, you could pull it from, did you see that Clary Sage spotlight, right? I could be pulling that, like this week, we're going to learn all about Clary Sage. Join me for this 5-day text class. And then you just take pieces of content and just put it in there. What I find with texting is less is more. If you have too much content, they tend not to read. So conversational and keeping the content real short is super key. But yeah, I really love Project Broadcast as well. And if anybody is interested in it, I can give you credits to get started. Like I can't remember what it is, like 150 credits. I'm happy to share it with you to test drive and see how you like it. Does anyone else have questions? We're just about at the half hour. Questions on apps, suggestions, anything else? Happy to talk. Okay, one more thing I was going to say before we go. Project Broadcast can also be a phenomenal tool for anybody who is doing in-person events or vendor events. Sherry Placo is not on tonight, but she is like the queen of vendor events on our team. And in the beginning, when she was doing them years ago, she would have some kind of a raffle, right? Like, enter to win. And she would collect email addresses. Now she said that she finds that people don't like to give email, but they'll happily give their phone number, which is so funny to me because I don't like giving out my phone number. But she was saying the percentage of people who are opting in with the phone number has way outpaced email. But she collects the phone numbers at these vendor events and in-person events. And then she'll then send like messages out to them, right? Very regularly. So she collects them, will initially send something to them like, thank you so much for stopping by my booth. So you could create these ahead of time within Project Broadcast, which is really cool. She'll send these messages, thanks so much for stopping by my booth. And then maybe she'll follow up in a couple of days. And then in a few days, she'll announce whoever her raffle winner is, and then she'll invite them to her in-person classes. But I know she is reaching out to those prospects on a regular basis. At least twice a month, she's sending them a tip and an invite to a class that she's teaching. So just wanted to share that with you guys because I saw that Jaylen, for example, had an in-person event coming up. So yeah, Project Broadcast can be a really great way to collect phone numbers for prospects too. Again, if anybody wants a deeper dive on that, just reach out. I'm happy to do it. And we could even record and I can show you how to do it because I think the recording could be really helpful for everybody. Okay, everyone. Thanks so much for joining tonight. I hope you learned a lot with our different apps that you can use for your business. I hope you have the confidence, right? Knowing that you can use these apps, that they will help to save you time, to make you more efficient so that you can focus on growing your business, right? That's where our time should be spent. So if you've got questions about anything, feel free to reach out after the call. Happy to help. All right, you guys have a great night. Take care.